Welcome to This Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily write their own videos to community fan art posts and updates. So without further ado, let's go over D's announcements and news from the 26th of August to the 1st of September. Starting this week's episode off, we had update 23.6 coming live on PC. This brought the Pyrus Project Relay Reconstruction mini-event into fruition. Now, PC players will have up until the 13th of September at 12:30 PM Eastern Time to complete the 4 tasks available. These tasks are as followed. Contribute Pyrus Essence. This requires you to go on Earth, Mercury, Saturn, or Ceres and find the Essence carriers. They will show up with a marker on the map, much like capture targets, and all you need to do is down them, capture them, and you will get some Pyrus Essence. The next task requires you to build 5 relay strut components. You can do this by using the blueprint that you receive upon logging into the game, and by using the Chimera essence that you earn from killing any enemies on Earth, Mercury, Saturn, or Ceres. The third task is that of completing a Samaris Daily Synthesis mission, which requires you to head to his station on any of the relays in the star chart, selecting the Do You Have Any Targets dialog option, and then going out into the star chart and scanning his targets by scanning their 4 points. The fourth task is that of defeating the Grochalska 3 times, and upon doing so you will receive a pistol Revenant mod, the new weapon the Xylop, as well as an Orokin catalyst already installed, and then a burning Ember Noggle. Now also in update 23.6 was changes to Revenant. They increased his Enthrall cap from 4 to 7, and the Danse Macabre ability now has an energy drain cost of 20 energy per second instead of 12.5. They also made a visual change to the Reeve ability. They added effects and sounds when using Mesmer Skin, and they fixed some issues with those abilities as well. As for the changes that came to the other items in the game, the Phantasma Altfire will now seek out targets in all directions. They made changes to the Death Machine rifle sound to handle higher fire rates better, and they made numerous micro-optimizations to runtime, object creation, level loading, and NPC path finding. They also fixed the issue for solo pausing not working, as well as Splinter Storm not renewing if Mass Vitrify ends just as it touches them. As for the rest of the fixes in this update, they're up on your screen, and you can read them here or check them out, as well as everything else that I talk about in the description down below. Moving on, we had Hotfix 23.6.1, which added a resource effect for the Chimera Essence pickup and then fixes to the Mask of the Revenant quest, the Pyrus Project, as well as to the base game. And the same thing goes for Hotfix 23.6.2. Now moving on from updates and hotfixes, we have the Warframe soundtrack including We All Live Together going live on Spotify. So if you use Spotify, you can now play the Warframe soundtrack through that. Now, it will be coming out to other music sources, such as 24/7, 7 Digital, 8 Tracks, Apple iTunes, AWA, Bandcamp, Deezer, Google Music Store, iHeartRadio, iMusica, and a lot more, but if you want to know more about that, they're up on your screen. You can just pause and have a read. Moving on for Xbox One players, you guys have now had Warframe for 4 years, and if you log into the game, you'll get 3 unique items. These are the Jade Rhino Noggle, the Jade Dex Pyrus skin, as well as the Seal of Honoring 4 sigil. You'll also be able to pick up the Jade Excalibur Noggle and 10,000 credits by completing an in-game alert, a Jade Excalibur Glyph by purchasing it in the market for 1 credit, as well as an Xbox One color palette for 1 credit as well. You will have up until October 1st at 2 PM Eastern Time to grab those goodies. Now, going back to last year, the Leukemia Awareness Month is currently in effect because it's September, and upon logging into the game during the month of September, players can get the Harmony Ribbon. And it is here to just bring awareness to the effects of leukemia and hopefully bringing a cure in the future. Moving on from that, we had DE Daniel on a PS4 livestream on the Warframe Twitch channel, saying that the next console update will include the Mask of the Revenant. Keep that in mind for console players, you'll be getting it eventually. Now moving on to developer Twitter posts. The first of which was Steve showing us and giving us 2 different Payspin documents, one of which is his outline for an Ordis themed side quest, which just from reading it does seem pretty fucking interesting, especially since, you know, he's ordered Pyrus as well. If you haven't done the Cephalon fragments, well, go out and do them. It's some interesting lore behind Ordis there. And the other post was some information about graphics and goals for Warframe. The next was a small little teaser for the Chimera Prologue, which seems to be another prequel to an event, I guess. That's what prologues are. We then had a small preview of them working on reflections in Warframe and trying to improve on what we currently have. It's showing up on your screen. If you want more about it, just go over there and drop a comment, and hopefully Steve replies with some information. And the final post was that from Pablo, just replying to a comment on one of his Riven posts, and there's nothing really of significance here besides that of elite alerts will require the player to have completed the star chart or cleared the star chart in order to join, which is pretty fucking interesting and a nice little bit of information, so hopefully that is true. Now moving on to community highlights. Now the first one of which is a post from PCGamesN just going over the Make-A-Wish Foundation's events in TennoCon and a kid called Eli and how his voice will be one of the first things we hear when we step out onto the Fortuna hub. According to Reddit, one of the characters we see, or two of the characters we see in the Strata Relay actually has his dialogue lines. So if you want to hear a preview of that, finish the event and walk around the new Strata Relay. Moving on to some art pieces. The first is a fucking amazing collection of some Warframe concept art by Benedick Bana on ArtStation. And I mean, look at them. They look fucking amazing. You have Atlas, Ash, Banshee, Frost, Excalibur, Ember, Equinox, Chroma, Gara, Harrow, Hydroid, Inaros, and Deborah. And personally, my favorite is Inaros. It just looks fucking amazing. The next was a Ember Deluxe skin concept by Deborah Illanes. Hopefully I got that name right. Another creator on ArtStation. And guys, if you don't use ArtStation to look at artwork, I highly suggest doing it. Some of this shit is fucking amazing. The next art piece is from a creator that I cannot fucking say without butchering the name, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to try. Grochalska, and it is an Inaros with some cravats there, and it just looks beautiful. Sorry for butchering your name, by the way. The final post is a really fucking cool clay model of Excalibur. Nice little bust of him, and that's by Marcelo Lessa. It looks amazing, and as I said before, if you don't use ArtStation for looking at images and getting some information about artworks, I highly suggest using it. The artwork is just amazing. Anyway, that concludes this week in Warframe. If you found the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series in any way, shape, or form, or you want to leave a comment on anything that I talked about here today, make sure to leave it in a comment down below. And if you missed out on last week's episode, make sure to click an annotation on the screen. It'll take you right to it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.